Okay, picture this. It's just after 9 a.m. on a Friday morning. You're the CIO, Jim Barton in this case, and you're sitting opposite your CEO. You have to propose shutting down huge parts of the business for days,
Yeah.
all because of some mysterious IT security thing. What do you even say? How do you justify that? And maybe worse, what happens when the CEO just says no, flat out, and then makes a call that flips your whole world upside down? So welcome to our deep dive. We're digging into Damage, which is chapter 11 of The Adventures of an IT Leader by Austin, Nolan, and O'Donnell. Our goal today is really to unpack this critical moment for Jim Barton. We'll look at it through those key lenses we use in BCIS 5381, organizational, management, and IT issues. These are crucial insights, especially for our graduate students, because, well, this is the kind of mess you might actually face.
It really is. And what's so compelling here, I think, isn't just the tech problem, right? It's how fast it spirals. It becomes this intense test of leadership, of the organization's weak spots, its resilience, or maybe lack thereof. It's a really stark reminder for anyone going into IT leadership. Tech is never just tech. It's tied into everything people, process, strategy. Honestly, from an academic angle, it's a perfect case study. Shows how an IT blip can blow up into a major organizational crisis fast.
Absolutely. And as we walk through what Jim Barton went through, maybe think about how you might handle it. What would you do? And hey, if this deep dive clicks for you, if it sparks some ideas, please do follow us, share it, help us get these conversations out to more folks interested in strategic IT. Okay, so let's dive into the crisis itself. Barton's nightmare kicks off with a denial of service attack, a DOS. Pretty standard, maybe?
Yeah.
But flooding IVK's network. But wait, there's more. There's also this bizarre internal database glitch. A critical file just poof, renames itself. And then the real gut punch. Anonymous gotcha emails start hitting employee inboxes.
Wow.
So the terrifying question isn't just what happened, but like, was this one sophisticated attack? Or just unbelievably bad luck, a horrible coincidence?
Right. The ambiguity is killer.
And his first challenge, even before he knows the full story, is briefing the CEO, Carl Williams, who's already skeptical. You know, Williams is under huge pressure himself to turn IVK around. And Barton admits he goes into technician mode, just dumping technical details without really translating it. It's like, imagine trying to explain network packets to someone laser focused on the quarterly numbers.
Exactly.
You've got to speak their language, right? What's the core challenge there? Bridging that gap for Williams.
Well, that's the pivot point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jim's struggle there, it immediately flags a huge management issue.
Yeah.
That gap between technical urgency and business impact.
Yeah.
Williams isn't just skeptical. He's feeling immense performance pressure. Downtime, to him, it equals failure.
Yeah.
Failure of his turnaround plan. And this whole mess just exposes the underlying IT issue. Their IT strategy was weak, cybersecurity way under-resourced. The book mentions legacy systems, not enough protection. It's that classic pay now or pay much, much more later thing.
Right.
But the much more isn't just money here. It's being forced into impossible choices, under fire, making Jim pitch this complex thing in, like, minutes.
That's a really powerful point. Technical debt costs money, sure, but this kind of non-linear risk where small things become existential threats, that's another level of pressure entirely. You also mentioned the external pressure, right? That analyst meeting looming large. Jim's quick thinking there, managing the message, hinting at a higher standard of service to steady the stock. Pretty slick move, really. What's that tell us organizationally?
It connects straight to an organizational issue, which is how fast an internal IT problem can hit your external reputation, investor confidence, market perception.
Wow, yeah.
This wasn't just about broken servers. It was about IVK's stock price.
Yeah.
Barton's move, even if it was a bit of theater, as he puts it, it shows a critical management issue. How do you handle transparency? How do you navigate those really tough talks with the execs? His whole principle, tell your boss the bad news first, even if you got to duck a punch. That's vital for managing expectations, building trust, especially when you see trouble coming. It's about managing the crisis inside, sure, but also managing that story on the outside.
Okay, so after that incredibly tense chat with Williams, Jim gets back to his war room. The team's all there. John Cho for security, Ellen Ripley, the PM, Paul Fenton on apps, Car Giovanni with databases, Ruben Gonzalez doing comms. You can almost feel that, IT teamwork under pressure vibe.
Definitely.
Their first job, past the initial shock, is contain and fix. Barton basically says, forget the budget. Accelerate Cho's security upgrade project. Now, Cho immediately lists off everything they need. Updated firewalls, better IDS, MFA, proper audit logs.
The wish list.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that 2 days ago seemed like a luxury, now it's like life support.
And this is where you see the immediate consequence of those long-ignored IT issues, right? Outdated systems, the desperate need to integrate new tech. The incident didn't just force their hand, it exposed really poor internal discipline, lax change control, sharing admin passwords. I mean, really.
Whew.
This is exactly why frameworks like COBIT and ITIL are so critical for strategic IS. COBIT for controls and risk, ITIL for service management. If they'd had robust processes based on these, a lot of this might have been caught earlier, or at least been less severe. They aren't just theory, they're basically blueprints for being resilient.
Okay, so they're scrambling on the immediate fixes, but then the team hits that truly scarier question. What if the bad guys are still inside?
Right, the lurking threat.
That leads them to the nuclear option. Wipe everything, rebuild from clean backups. They game out roughly 3 technical paths. Can you walk us through those options, the pros and cons they were weighing?
Absolutely. In this moment, it really shows that complex dance between IT issues and management issues. So, option 1, do nothing new. Just stick with the immediate patches. Minimal disruption, which sounds good,
Tempting, yeah.
but a massive gamble. From an IT strategy view, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a serious infection. The risk, if they were wrong about containment, huge. Negligence, even. Honestly, it says something about the team's integrity that they didn't really push for this one long term.
Okay, so that's off the table. What was option 2?
Option 2, shut down critical systems ASAP, rebuild from scratch. This was the tech safety first plan.
The big red button.
Pretty much. Take the company offline for days,
Yeah.
wipe systems, restore from known good code, get rid of any hidden malware. But the organizational issues were massive. Customer services go dark. They'd need a cover story, like scheduled maintenance.
Sneaky.
Plus, their system rebuild documentation was old. And key knowledge walked out the door with people who'd left a classic organizational issue of turnover.
The brain drain problem.
Exactly. Despite all that, the IT team, especially Cho, leaned hard into this one. Prioritize technical safety. It fits that ITIL idea. Stop the bleeding first, then heal. Contain, then recover.
Makes sense from a tech perspective.
What about the third way?
Option 3. Set up a parallel mirror system. Keep the current IVK running while you build a brand new, clean environment on the side, maybe using the cloud, then switch everyone over.
Like a staged migration.
Sort of. The big plus, no immediate customer downtime. Sounds almost agile, right? Build the new thing, flip the switch gracefully.
But there's always a but.
But it's slower, much costlier. Would take maybe weeks to get ready, leaving them exposed that whole time. And it assumes they actually had the people and the documentation to build an accurate replica, which, given the organizational turnover we just mentioned, was a pretty big assumption. It's fascinating, isn't it, how a technical choice immediately bumps up against these deep organizational people process problems that point about outdated docs and knowledge gaps from turnover being textbook internal process failures. Really hammers home the need for solid process management. And Jim realizing he couldn't just bring Williams a geek solution, that constant need to translate to bridge the IT business divide, it never goes away.
Ever.
What about that idea of using the cloud for the mirror system, even though they didn't pick it? What does that hint at?
It points right at the strategic potential, but also the real-world hurdles of cloud adoption.
Cool.
The book mentions cloud cost or confusion, which tells you that even then, and honestly still today sometimes, figuring out how to really use the cloud for resilience. For DR, it's complex. For IVK in crisis mode, the cloud could have been amazing, flexible, scalable, fast rebuild. But the confusion part, it suggests they maybe lacked the strategy or the internal skills to actually pull it off under pressure. It highlights a key IT issue in digital transformation. Having the tech isn't enough. You need the strategy, the operational maturity to wield it effectively.
Okay, so fixing things internally was a minefield. But then deciding what to tell the outside world, that was, as the book says, an even more delicate dance.
Oh yeah, the disclosure dilemma.
Full of legal, ethical traps. John Cho is pretty clear. I think we need to disclose. I believe we're legally obliged to. Strong stance.
Principle.
But Paul Fenton, coming from compliance, was more cautious. Hold on, our duty kicks in if we know data was taken. We don't know that for sure yet. That ambiguity seems critical.
It absolutely is. And this is exactly where data governance and compliance become urgent IT issues.
Sure.
And where the lawyers earn their keep. The whole debate hangs on interpreting those breach notification laws. Like how much suspicion forces you to tell. It's not technical, it's legal, it's reputational, it's ethical, huge stakes for customer trust, regulatory fines. And from a management issue perspective, this is a massive test of the workplace culture.
How so?
Well, does leadership encourage openness? Or does the fear of bad news push everyone towards covering things up? Barton's wrestling with his own integrity versus protecting the company. That's the tension right there.
Yeah, you feel for
And
him.
his wife Maggie's advice, be practical. What's Carl going to be okay hearing? It's so pragmatic, almost harsh. It shows that strategic leadership isn't about pure right or wrong. It's navigating this messy web of politics and media pressure, managing the boss's expectations.
A truly nasty spot to be in. So after all that back and forth, the team lands on a plan. A compromise, sort of.
That consensus claim?
Go with option 2, the shutdown and rebuild. Frame it as planned maintenance. Then do quiet, staggered, targeted notifications to customers afterwards. Keep it low-key.
A practical path forward, or so they thought.
Exactly. Then comes Saturday morning, the boardroom meeting. Williams cuts right to it. So this is a recommendation. Barton says yes, lays out the plan, plain English. Shut down systems, call it planned maintenance for service improvement. No solid proof data was stolen, but be cautious. Notify affected customers quietly. Maybe time it to avoid press cycles.
Sounds reasonable, given the circumstances.
And here's where it gets wild. Williams just listens. Blank face. Barton's probably sweating bullets. Then relief. The general counsel, Graham Wells, actually speaks up for the plan. Likes the safety of the shutdown, the careful contact strategy.
Okay, support from legal, that's big.
Yeah. Other execs chime in too. Customer service offers to call key clients personally. It looks like, wow, maybe cross-functional teamwork is
A
happening.
united front.
Williams finally asks, so you all think this sounds like a good way to go? One by one, every hand goes up. Barton should be relieved, right?
You'd think so.
But Williams' face, still unreadable. He looks around, walks to the window. The silence must have been unbearable. What is going on in his head? What does his reaction tell us?
Oh, this moment is just dripping with management issues. First, sheer performance pressure on Williams. His absolute refusal to lose, to admit any weakness that could derail his turnaround. It just overrides everything. Second, it's the total breakdown of communication and structure. You have unanimous agreement, expert advice, cross-functional buy-in, and Williams just throws it out. He reveals this deeply toxic, almost autocratic leadership style. One person's ego, their immediate goals, trumping everything else.
And the consequences are immediate and brutal.
Brutal is the word. Firing Graham Wells at GC and Niels Hansen, head of loan ops, that's organizational turnover driven by pure fear. There's no psychological safety there.
Wells' stand was pretty brave, though.
Incredibly brave. I cannot go along with you on this, Carl. This is dangerous. And Williams' response, you're not the CEO. It's my decision. Chilling.
Yeah.
That clash of values just shatters teamwork, destroys trust, breeds a culture of fear. Instantly.
And then the final twist for Barton.
Right. Williams dumps loan operations on him too, CIO and interim head of loan ops. That's not just understaffing, it's a deliberate management issue messing with role specification.
The punishment.
Absolutely. Punishment disguised as responsibility, designed to overwhelm Barton, control him, push him to the absolute limit, test his loyalty maybe. It's a power play.
You can just feel the air get sucked out of the room. Barton reflects later. He survives, sure. But the damage, it's not just the systems, it's the leadership, the trust, the culture, wrecked. His big takeaway. IT issues, never just tech issues. They're tangled up with everything, organization, people, strategy.
And that reflection, that's the core lesson for our BCIS 5381 students. Barton's survival, if you can even call it that, it wasn't about winning the argument with Williams. It was maybe a strategic retreat, conceding the battle to hopefully preserve enough ground to rebuild later. Maybe. The whole crisis stemmed from IVK's chronic underfunding, those legacy systems, bad procedures, a fundamental failure of IT strategy at the top. It just screams for proactive investment, aligning IT with the business goals before disaster strikes, leading with foresight, not just reacting.
Makes total sense.
And linking it forward, Barton even thinks about future risks, like AI and generative AI.
Yeah.
He sees the potential, right? AI for threat detection, catching things humans miss.
Yet also the dangers.
But also the new headaches for data governance, for compliance, especially with sensitive data. Using these powerful tools brings new responsibilities. His final resolve, though, strengthen the basics. Better governance, modern infrastructure, real security vigilance, and a culture that actually learns from mistakes. That's the heart of strategic IT leadership, turning that damage into fuel for improvement. Even when the leadership above you is difficult. It's about resilience, tech resilience, sure, but leader resilience too.
What a journey, seriously. Barton went through the fire, didn't he? Learned some hard lessons about when to stand firm, when to maybe bend strategically. This whole crisis just highlights why real IT leadership matters so much. It's what separates a manager from a strategic CIO, someone who can navigate the storm and rebuild not just servers, but trust, culture.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We've walked through Jim Barton's IT nightmare, which really turned into a masterclass in leadership, ethics, survival, all from the adventures of an IT leader. If this discussion resonated, if it sparked some thoughts about strategic IT leadership challenges, please do follow us, share this with your colleagues, your networks. It really helps us keep these conversations going.
Yeah, this chapter, Damage, it really drives home that the hardest calls in IT leadership, they're often not technical at all. They're deeply human, organizational. It's a powerful reminder. Strong IT governance, a solid strategy, and ethical compass, just as vital as any firewall, maybe more so.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Considering everything Barton faced and Williams's final, shocking decision, what would you do next if you were Jim Barton? How would you try to balance that direct order, keep things running, hide the incident with your professional duty, your ethical obligation to ensure security and transparency for IVK in the long run? We look forward to hearing how you would lead through the damage.